I woke up today with like a concept in my mind that I was gonna do something. Finally record a video again about what it feels like to like be a college dropout in a black family in South Africa. So, I've been a college dropout now for like a year and a couple of months. Like a couple of months being it's almost 2 years since I've not been in college, university, whatever. Me. Because like 2 years ago, I wasn't doing so well. Not as in like I was failing everything. I mean, I was a college student. There are some things that you look at and you're like, whoa, I could have done better. But it's not that. It's just everyone had one matrikini. Almost everyone has like a concept of what they're gonna do with the rest of their lives. And I was one of those people. I was like, okay, I want to study veterinary sciences. But I was always reluctant to like apply to the best veterinary school in South Africa, which is the veterinary school in PTA, because first of all, application fee 300. Number one. Number two, getting a bursary for veterinary sciences is not getting a bursary is not that easy, guys. I don't care who you are. If you don't have like the perfect APS, you're gonna struggle to get a bursary. Like, unless you have connections, buma, in the government or something, then maybe, you know? But like, that's the thing. It's just spending that much money to apply for something and then not being sure if you're gonna get a bursary for it. I like procrastinated for the longest time. I was like, I'm not gonna do this. I was thinking about many things. So I applied to UFS instead. But there was this agricultural school that was scouting learners who were efficient, proficient, whatever the English word is for you're doing okay in life sciences and physical sciences and like math and all of that. Everyone who wants to follow the science route. It was like, okay, Grootfontein is looking for students, and it's like they gave us application forms and all of that. So they gave us they told us what to do, and I filled it out, I sent it over, and I was accepted. They sent me an exception, what is it called, the envelope with everything in it and the rules and like when I need to show up for school, what are the options for financial aid and all of that. And I was excited. I was like, okay, I've always told myself that if I can't do veterinary sciences, then I'd rather do something in agriculture and follow the animal health route, like work with animal diseases and all of that, because I want to work with animals. I mean, come on. It's been obvious for like the longest time in my life. So I was like, okay, I'm cool. I'm gonna, if Kisai UFC, no, if Kisai Grootfontein, either UFs, because Grootfontein is a college of agriculture. There is nothing else going on. So I was like, okay, I'll be able to concentrate on my work, right? And that was the plan. I came home and I told them, and they were all on board. But then there came the issue of it's too far. How are we going to afford you living over there? And what are you going to do? And I'm like, well, it's in the same place as Wits. And I know someone or a couple of people who I was in school with who are going to Wits. And a couple of people from my school are going to Grootfontein as well. And we're kind of friends, so I think it's reasonable that I go there. I will have support, and gonna be in a college living in a dorm. It's not like I'm gonna be living in some random dude's house and I'm gonna be unsafe all the time. After a lot of arguing and all of that, that thing was ruled out. So I was like, okay, the second option now is, and pay in mind, it was ruled out very late. So at that point, the only school that was open was Yorf's. And then I went there. And I was like, okay, if I can't go to the school I want to go to, then the second option is Yorf's, obviously. But because my parents wanted me to be close for some reason. Excuse me, my voice sounds weird. Like it's tight. My throat is very tight. Like it's a whistle. But anyway, if I sound weird, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the thing. Blah 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 blah. I went to Europe, so I was accepted, obviously, and they told me no. The agricultural spots are filled for the semester in Uniqua. Yeah, which is Europe, good God, Europe into the south. That campus. Yeah. So I was like, okay, what's the option now? And they were like, okay, we're gonna send you to Bloemfontein. Okay, they didn't tell me that actually. They didn't tell me. They were like, the only options for you now is to take something else. And I'm like, not really. And then they were like, okay, no, cool, it's fine. Nee. They told me everything is okay. Like all of my documentation was accepted. I had a bursary and everything. But then they sent me that when I checked my, that thing that they give you with like the like with the things you are gonna study and like that paper, man, that you go to hand in when you register. It was written Bloemfontein campus, like main campus, and I was like, okay, I called them and I asked them who was it, and they were like, no, we're transferring you there because it makes more sense for you to go there because there's more space there. And I was like, okay, cool. But I know what my parents are going to say about it. The minute I got home, I told them, no, I'm accepted. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And it was okay. It was okay. And then, obviously, why do I want to go to Bloemfontein? Who's going to pay for my accommodation? This and that. The logistics of the situation. I'm like, okay, no, my dad lives in Bloem. Whenever I'm struggling, I could just call dad, because it's not like he's not going to want to help me when I'm in a weird situation. So that was sorted out. So I went to Bloemfontein, registration period. That took forever because my bursary wasn't approving during that time, and they kept extending registration period for like situations like that because in this phase it was also giving children problems. So I was like, I missed an entire week of school just waiting for my stuff to get approved. And then when I finally did, they told me, no, the spaces for agriculture are full. So we rather suggest that you take education for the first semester and you can switch over to agriculture for the second semester. And I'm like, is that possible? And they're like, yeah. So second semester comes, I attended school and everything, and I was tolerating it, okay? I was tolerating doing education, foundation phase, but I didn't like it. Like, I did not like it. Like, I was happy to be at school and not sitting at home. And then I came home second semester, I told them what the issue was, and then they were like, no, you're not going to waste money like that. You have to finish education, and then you'll go study whatever you want. I'm like, it's not starting over. All I have to do is just switch over to the other qualification mid-year so that I can start a second semester. Like, I'll be back a semester, but I'll still be like catching up. All I have to do is like just repeat the work, And they were like, no. So you could just imagine the devastation. So I went back to school, did education for a year, and then at the end of the year I was like, okay, flip these. I'm gonna switch over to agriculture. And they told me, no, you can't now switch over because you've done an entire year of one qualification and we don't accept students from education to agriculture. So I was confused as to why the lady was like, no, you can do education and then switch over to agriculture, when they're telling me at the end of the year that I can't do that, that they don't accept education students into the science faculty. And I was like, what in the hell is going on? And I just decided that maybe I didn't have enough information about the situation, so I decided to continue with education. But then I switched to senior phase so I can major in biology. I was like, okay, that's the second best thing. I did that. First semester went kind of okay, but you know, UFS 101, I keep forgetting that. I had to retake UFS 101 the second year because I forgot to attend class. Like, it was not even that I didn't do assignments and I did them. I did the assignments. I handed them in. But attendance, bruh. Like, you don't believe it when they tell you attendance counts until you get your, like, you see your marks at the end of the semester and you're like, oh, no. So I had to repeat that. But anyway, the first semester of the second year, I was like, okay, cool. At least I'm doing biology, you know? But then the second semester, my attitude started changing to, I didn't want to go to school. I started skipping class. I would go to campus, but I wouldn't go to class. I would just meander about. Like, it was weird. Like, I never thought I'd be that person who did not go to class on purpose. And so that started catching up with me. And then I started being very depressed about the whole situation. I was like, why is everyone else allowed to do what they want to do? Because you hear, like, I look up and go, you know, drinks, talking with your friends, and then everyone's talking about, oh my god, I love what I'm doing, I can't wait to work, and you're just there like, I don't want to do this, you know? So at the end of the year, my mom asked me what was wrong, because she could see that I don't like school anymore. Even my grandmother was starting to ask me questions like that. Am I catching flu? So, long story short, by the end of the year, my mom was like, okay, I think it's time that you just take a break. And she was telling me all about, I should have taken a gap year the minute I got out of school, because even then I was like not okay because of things that were happening in my life, and not all people are strong enough to deal with all of their issues efficiently. Okay, so she was like, no, take a year off school. Take a year off and just relax. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. I'll relax. I might work, depending if I find a nice job to work at. And then the next year, which was last year, the entire year was just a stressful combination of people telling me subliminally that you're so useless. Like, what are you doing with your life? And it was a thing that I didn't want the rest of my family to know, that I'm not going to school anymore, because I was still living in Bloom. I didn't want them to know. I don't want people in my, like, yeah, I did your opinions thing at the life, and honestly, I don't appreciate it. So I didn't want to tell anyone, but obviously my family was telling everyone. So every time there was like a holiday or whatever, and I was at home, I was always getting bombarded with like, no, you should have done this, you should have done that. And that was challenging. But anyway, instead of that year being a relaxing year for me, it was just a combination of judgment and being like, try to be forced into stuff that I didn't want to do, right? And I was like, why suggest that I take a year off and then spend the entire year telling me to follow a career that I don't want, which was the problem in the first place. Like, why are we repeating that cycle, you know? So whatever, the last year was over and everything, and then at the end of the year, I had already like applied to go to school again, like to continue school, even if it's like starting over. I was like, I just want to go to school. Like, I just want to go to school. Applied for a bursary, denied. Applied for a bursary, denied. Applied for NSFAS. They made me wait until this year in February to tell me that no, you're rejected because your annual income is above whatever. So to my devastation, I am sitting at home again. And it's the same as last year. Desperately trying to force me into a career that I don't want to go into. So I was like, no, what's taking? I'd rather spend the whole of this year because I'd rather like study UNISA and then do something else on the side. I don't want to be trapped in a career for the rest of my life and then hate it. So that's my plan. But then the problem comes in the fact that, like, yes, open distance learning is an option for me, right? But where do I work, you know? So, but what I'm trying to say here is, if you're a black girl living in South Africa and you dropped out of school, you'll never catch a break, girl. And I never thought in a million years I'd be one of those people who sat at home for 2 years. Like, this is literally, like, 4 years of my life that I have basically thrown down the drain. And let me tell you, it's stressful. It's stressful as fuck. I'm like, there's so many things in my future that are going to be delayed now because now I have to start school all over again. And I get it. Like, open distance learning is the best option right now because I don't want to go back to campus. And I told someone this and they were like, no, but you're still young. What do you mean you don't want to go back to campus? And I'm like, I just don't want to go back to campus. Because for sure, I'm young. And a lot of people in their families are older than me and they're still on campus and they're doing the things because that's what they want to do. But I've never been the type that needs to go to class to, like, be able to study. Like, I'm always a self-studier. I didn't go to study groups. I studied on my own. And I get it. Like, when I'm focused and I'm alone, I'm able to do what I need to do. And UFS 101 was a prime example of how shitty I can be at attendance. So I was like, okay, cool. The only things I'd have to do is go to a few lessons per semester, or 1 or 2, and then write exams. I was like, okay, cool. But there's nothing more stressful than thinking about all of this and how far I'd be if I just went to Grootfontein. Like, it was a 3-year course. I would have been done. I would have been working and studying towards a better qualification by now. It blows my mind. But hey, like, you know when you don't believe when people say things don't always go your way? This is like, I'm living it and I'm like in shock because I'm like, wow. This is kind of deep for a first video. But hey, if you stuck out to the end, thank you for watching. And sorry for the snuffling and like the color of my nose right now. Like, I'm flushed. I'm catching flu for some reason. But hey, my name is Belo. And yeah, I'm trying to start a YouTube channel. Even though I've tried so many times. Like, I have so many videos that I won't upload because, you know, once you watch yourself, I mean, I think YouTubers get it. Like, you get really insecure about certain things that you record and you're like, nah, I'd rather not. So thank you. If you liked it, please subscribe. And I'm always open for suggestions. I'm always open for suggestions. Like, I'm willing to talk about almost anything, really. Because that's the whole point. Anyway. Bye.